Hey guys. Oh, there, let me fix this. There we go. I'm LQ. This is the LQ review, and I'm here with my weekly news update. So every week, at the end of the week, I like to give a news update on what's been happening in the world of movies and the world of movie news, and let's get into it. So the first big story, and it just dropped today, huge story. James Gunn will be directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yes, I can't believe it. But he will be directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He has been meeting with Disney executives, and they've been mending fences and trying to figure out a path forward. And it looks like they've gotten there because they announced today that he is directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think this is great news. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, they're James Gunn movies. They have, his DNA is all over those movies. And I couldn't be happier that he's back to finish. If this ends up being a trilogy, to kind of finish what he started, right? Because he's just done a great job with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. There we go. So can't wait to see what he has in store for Volume 3. And for those of you who are looking forward to seeing what he brings to Suicide Squad 2, because remember, Warner Brothers signed him on to do Suicide Squad 2, and that's a DC comic property. For those of you who are worried about that, don't worry, because he is doing Suicide Squad 2. He is, in fact, doing Suicide Squad Part 2 before he'll be doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So first we'll get Suicide Squad 2, then we're going to get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But this is great news. More James Gunn in our life is just a good thing. And the fact that we're going to get some James Gunn in DC Comics, and we're also going to get him back in Suicide Squad, I'm hyped. Speaking of Suicide Squad 2, James Gunn has announced that they're going to be taking inspiration for Suicide Squad 2 from the original run of the comics. So this is the run that happened in the late 80s. Remember, Suicide Squad was introduced in Legends. Legends was a big epic crossover that kind of in the vein of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then shortly after that you had Millennium, and then you had Legends. So Legends was this big massive crossover that involved Darkseid, involved Apocalypse, and it introduced the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad then had their solo comic that came out of that, and this is the inspiration time period, this team, this roster. This is the inspiration that he's going for. It's a little more down to earth than the first movie, a little more grounded, a little more Black Ops-ish. We're talking about a Suicide Squad team that's running Black Ops for the government, not fighting a witch. And I think that's the right approach to take as far as Suicide Squad is concerned. Especially since the fact that many members of the Suicide Squad aren't exactly powered up to Superman level. And we saw that. That was a problem in Suicide Squad 1, was that they were basically a bunch of normal people, with a couple exceptions, fighting this all-powerful being. So we're going to see a Suicide Squad that's kind of depowered, I think. We're still going to have Deadshot, we're still going to have Harley, we're going to have some other people thrown in there. But a largely depowered Suicide Squad running Black Ops for the government, and that's going to be a great take on it. Can't wait to see what James Gunn has in store. Another big story this weekend is going to be Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel dominated last week. Made 155, somewhere around there, give or take. About $155 million in its opening weekend. About $455 million worldwide. Almost $500 million in 3 days. Huge. Puts all those naysayers to rest. I still read online some people saying, well, nobody's going to see Captain Marvel. You're an idiot. You're an idiot if you think nobody's going to see Captain Marvel. Look at the numbers. But Captain Marvel is the big story. Is going to be another big story this weekend. Captain Marvel will dominate the box office this weekend, and I just thought I'd share some of these pictures of Brie Larson. This was opening weekend. So this was opening weekend where Brie Larson was serving popcorn and serving soda to people coming to see Captain Marvel. I thought this was great. She's smiling, she's having a good time, and I think that's fantastic. Marvel has always done a good job of appealing to its fans, and this is another great example of that. So Brie Larson, she wasn't my first pick to play Captain Marvel, and still isn't. But that has nothing to do with the controversy. I think she's fantastic. Having a great time in these pictures, and good on her and good on Marvel. Next, quick little blurb here. This is not a movie-related tidbit, but this is a comic book-related tidbit. DC is ending the current run of Green Arrow, and they're going to relaunch and kind of reset Green Arrow, and they're going to make him a little more traditional. Going to kind of make with this new run of Green Arrow comic books, they're going to make Green Arrow a little more traditional with the goatee and kind of, my guess is they're going to bring him back to some of the social justice warrior stuff that he used to do back in like the 70s. And this would be a good turn for Green Arrow, bringing him back kind of to his roots. So if you're into comic books, keep an eye out for that. Another, I don't know if this is a sad thing or if it's just commentary on the world that we're in, but the last Blockbuster, there's only one Blockbuster left standing in the world. The place that we used to go in the 90s to rent our movies and bring our movies home and have a good time watching them with friends and family. There's only one left in the world, and it is in Bend, Oregon. There was two. The one in Perth, Australia just closed, so now we're down to one. One surviving Blockbuster in the world. Is it going to last, or is it going to die off as well? I guess time will tell on that, but it is the end of an era, saying goodbye to Blockbuster Video once and for all. There is still a lot of family videos, though. There's a family video right here in my community where I live. So family Video is somehow figuring out how to hold on. I think some of that has to go with the fact that they keep reselling their movies. So they'll have movies for rent for a short period of time, and then they resell them at close to the value that they purchased them for. So that might be Family Video's trick, but Blockbuster's almost dead, and that's really sad. The Disney-Fox merger that we've been talking about for, gosh, it seems like forever now, it is almost set to close. The Disney-Fox merger ends on March 20th. On March 20th, Disney will own Fox. All of Fox properties, with the exception of their news and sports properties, Disney will own. That means that Disney will now own Simpsons, Family Guy, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. They'll own Die Hard. They'll own the Predator franchise, the Alien franchise. There's so many franchises that Disney now owns. Home Alone. I mean, Disney now has their hands on so many franchises, and I'm really anxious to see what they're going to do with it. What they're going to do with these new franchises that they own. What's going to go on Disney streaming? What's going to go on Hulu as far as the streaming is concerned? Because we know that's why Disney made this $71 billion deal. Not because of the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, but because of the content, because of the streaming services that Disney are involved in, Disney Plus and Hulu. But that deal's getting ready to finalize, and then it'll be off to the races, and we'll see what Disney does with it. The first image for Jumanji 3 is online. And if you look at it, it looks like this image is it looks like it's from Jumanji 2, or the first one with The Rock, the Jumanji reboot. But that makes sense. These are video game characters, so they're not going to go and change their clothes and change their hair all up and all that. They look pretty much the same, which is great. I love the Jumanji reboot, Jumanji 2, whatever you want to call it, The Rock Jumanji. I loved it. It was one of my favorite movies of that year, and I'm so excited to see this sequel. I think it comes out at Christmas. So keep an eye on that. This is the first official photo. We're going to start seeing a lot more start to leak out. In fact, it won't surprise me if we get a trailer here within a couple months. Speaking of Christmas releases, as we know, there's a little movie called Star Wars Episode 9 coming out at Christmas time, and we haven't seen a trailer, we haven't seen any real official set photos or anything like that. Nothing is really leaked out, but Oscar Isaacs recently said that this will bring a definitive end to the Skywalker story, which tells me a couple things. Number one, Luke is going to stay dead. This is going to be the end of Luke's story. Number two, they're not going to retcon The Last Jedi and magically make Rey a Skywalker, which I would not have liked that. This will be the end of the Skywalker story, and then from here on out, they're going to start telling new stories in Star Wars. I'm sure there will be an Episode 10. Episode 10 will probably continue to follow the story of Rey and Poe and Finn, but this will be the end to the Skywalker story. So I really hope that they stick the landing, because this means so much to so many Star Wars fans, myself included. So fingers crossed that JJ's able to stick this landing, because man, it will turn around so much of the bad blood that The Last Jedi created. I like The Last Jedi. I'm not one of those haters. You guys ruined Luke. I'm not one of those guys. I like The Last Jedi. It was not one of the stronger Star Wars movies. It wasn't. It's a middle-of-the-road Star Wars movie for me. But let's be real. There is some bad blood from The Last Jedi. So hopefully JJ can turn that around, get Star Wars back where it needs to be, because Star Wars is the best franchise ever. And then we'll move past the Star Wars saga and into new exciting territory. So I'm excited about that as well. Titans. The Titans TV show, Season 1 was great. Season 2 has cast its Deathstroke. His name is Isai Morales. He looks kind of like a Deathstroke. I'm excited. They're bringing in Superboy. They're bringing in Deathstroke. They're bringing in Jericho. This is going to be great. Titans Season 1 was fantastic. If you're not watching Doom Patrol is also great. Get the DC Universe Online streaming. It's only $7.99 a month, and it's got a lot of great content on it, a lot of more great content coming, and their library, their comic book library is huge. I can't keep up with it. I don't have time to read that many books. Get the DC streaming service, watch Titans, watch Doom Patrol, and keep an eye on news for Titans Season 2, because I think it's going to be fantastic. Marvel Studios. Speaking of fantastic, Marvel Studios, with the opening weekend of Captain Marvel, crossed $18 billion. Do the math. That's about 21 movies, $18 billion. You're talking almost $1 billion a movie. Insane. We could talk about Marvel for a long time, but that is insane. No movie franchise in the history of the world has had the kind of success that Marvel is having. How long they can keep it up, we'll see, but it doesn't look like it's slowing down. I'll tell you that. So $18 billion in 21 movies. Speaking of Marvel, the Avengers Endgame trailer 2 dropped. Fantastic. Check that out if you haven't seen it. And that's all I've got for the LQ Review News Update. Thank you for being here. We get to talk about all the nerdy things that us nerds and geeks love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.